Hi, so I just played this absolutely wild match in Bash against, I believe, Unknown Guitar, and I wanted to show it off because I thought it was cool. So, I'm playing the Pants, I get serve, we see here a Debugly counter serve with a bunch of very threatening damage. I'm gonna launch as per usual. But the Clamor counter serve, I deal a lot of damage to the Noizard, which is good, but it's going to be able to set up Drum here. I'm not sure if yeah, okay, I'm able to look at stuff. So we see, let's show off the teams. I'm running the Pants with a slight modification. The Noizard has Stinger. So Launch, Thump, Shield, Overwork, Castlete, Relentless, Lay Trap, Blaze, or Gela, so I'm pretty much always planning to block after serve. In the back I have a Splinter, Deep Breath, Stare Down, Power Forward Armantis, Deep Breath just for a nice bit of healing against teams that are a little bit slower. Provoke, Sidewinder, Refresh, Vagabond. They're partially for the counter serve of Grandma's, but also Refresh does a great job of supporting a Blaze or Gela that isn't close to proccing Superorganism, as well as the Overworked Castlete. Noizard, lastly, Clamor, Provoke, Stinger, Drum. Opposing side, we have a Twist, Telekinesis, Tool, Debugly here. A Dump, Stare Down, Drum, Noizard, as I mentioned. Trat here, Evil Ray, notably. Tool, love seeing Tool on Trat. Is it invested? I didn't actually check. Yeah, that's an invested Tool off of Trat. Huge fan, because there is like a attack pass on this team in the Voltoxin. But forward pass, quick tag. Mimic, Spitball, Gloom, so Mimic copying either Twist from the Debugly, Dump, which it will do later from the Noizard, or Stinger from that, or even Tool from the Trat. Of course, having Overwrite. And lastly, typical Absorption, fully invested Voltoxin, which is going to be a threat. So I, right away, make a mistake. I forget that this friend here is currently angry. That Tool is not going to knock me out if I block. I simply forget this. So you're going to watch me, after drums get set up, move to the side, because I think the Tool's coming. And I lose point 1 immediately. So, I tag in my Noizard now. I don't want the Twist serve to hit my Castlete, and I'd like to get drums up myself to start healing off some of that overwork damage, as well as, like, negating basically all of that Twist damage that just came out. Noizard's gonna stay on the field for a while. I just plugged in my second monitor, that's why it paused, I think. Trying to get through the animations a little bit faster because I set it to slowest. But I hit launch into the Debugly here. I recognize that this thing is going to be a massive threat if I don't get it off the field, so I'm going to want to put a whole bunch of damage on it here. Trat comes in, threatening, able to click forward pass now. My correct play is pretty much always just to shield the Castlete, because either there's a Twist coming into the Castlete, a Tool coming into the Castlete, or a Twist going into the Noizard, which I don't care about in the slightest. So I have no reason to not shield Castlete here. Blocking won't save me now, I don't think. Oh, no, never mind. Right, yes, I can block now. So play is to block, because either I do that or I end up stingering the Debugly. Gosh, this game was so long that I forgot what had happened. Either way, Castlete's on 17 now, which is good. This is why Drum is so secretly good at supporting Overwork, because if you're healing 12 every turn, that's nearly all of 15. So if you're above, like, a few HP, if you're above 4, you can survive the next hit. If you're at 5 or higher, Sorry, if you live a hit on 11 or more, you can shield. That's how the math works. Either way, with the block, I get the double provoke off. Debugly runs to the back, which is the smart play from the opponent's side, knowing that the double provoke is coming, not wanting to switch anyone into a front row castle lead hit, and save the point. This is where I shield, I believe. Yeah, I got a turn ahead of myself, but either way. Tool comes out. No real reason to click twist into the noise art again. And Tool is going to get more damage on the castle elite, so it just makes sense. But my castle elite, it's worth noting, is basically out of the game at this point. Or it's out of the game for a while, but it's not out of the game entirely because the nice thing about Overwork is, unlike Power Up, if you shield yourself and live on just a few HP, you're now down, which is good because it means you can come back later. Either way, Debugly is obviously switching out here, or I read that Debugly is switching out here. It's not super obvious, but I get the play right, and also, like, in the event that the Debugly didn't switch out, I'd probably rather not win the point there because I don't want to serve with a free ball. But either way, Voltoxin moves forward and Telekinesis is here, so I believe I just tag in my Orgella right away, take that super well, and then just get a Blaze off. Typical stuff, I'm taking like 80 damage, and that means that I am far below the 34 threshold that is required. And I can click Stinger into the Voltoxin in turn and disable its boosts, except it doesn't have a way to clear them itself. Orgella, of course, clears its own with Super Organism here. My drums are down, but it doesn't really matter because Noise Art hasn't taken any damage, or it healed off everything it did take earlier. And, I mean, the Orgella is at full. Nothing really that drums are super preventing in terms of feelings from the other side of the field. But either way, the smart play comes out here. We see the Clamor Noizard just swap in, take the Stinger, but that does mean that the Voltoxin, again, can't click Telekinesis this turn. So they're going to set up drums here. Whereas I believe I swap in Varkabond. I want to get Noizard off the field so that I can get Clamor back online. Clamor obviously doesn't really do much once you're already on the field. So Orgella takes 82 again. Voltoxin not able to boost itself up because it's angry from the Clamor on the other side. And there are a couple things I can do here. I can either Blaze it off again, and just risk the absolutely massive hit coming. But I do recognize the Noise Art on the other side is Weepy. Oh, right, I do Blaze it off here. And I Blaze it off in Sidewinder here. Because I can block next turn, I think. But we actually see a stare down here. I forget what the play here was. I think it was to keep Orgella in place, but gosh. Either way, Voltoxin's super threatening now. I believe it is at, let's find out. I think it's at like +3 or +4 at this point. Yeah, +3. 2 boosts and front row. So it's doing a whole lot of damage. But I am able to click block here, but I am also able to tag in my Noizard, which is what I end up doing, because that means Orgella is no longer Weepy and is now at +5 in the front row, able to fire off a massive Relentless, and Noizard can, of course, provoke to prevent any shenanigans going on. I decide to cut my losses and take the point here. I know I'm not going to be able to... I know I am not going to be able to, oh, that was a mistake. We're gonna go back in. All right. I am hitting the skip cutscene button, and I need to not be doing that. I was running Chicory earlier, and the keybinds are like slightly different. Okay, here we go. Okay, cast lead heals. Okay, this is about where we were. So yeah, here's where Noise Art switches in. So to inspect this position, I'm at +5. If they double block the Orgella, which they're going to, I cannot knock out the Voltoxin ever, but I can get the point on the Noizard. Even though this Noizard is at like 3 out of 4 Weepy, the Voltoxin is so much of a threat at this point that I just don't really want to mess with it anymore, and so I'm going to choose to just cut my losses, set drums up again, get some healing on the Noizard, and knock out theirs, which will be a problem later because it'll come back up in not very long. But resetting the Voltoxin's boosts here was definitely, I think, the right decision. Because otherwise my Noizard is either going to be nearly out of play after I block, or the Orgella is going to have to blaze again, and I don't want to do that. I would much rather be at full, serve into the Voltoxin and force it to not be in the front row. So we're going to see the Diabloceros come out here. And this is a concern. I don't even really think about it yet. At this point, but Overwrite obviously is going to cause issues for my Orgella in particular, and also like disable half of power forward. I think it disables unpredictable. Either way, drums are up. But this thing is able to move to the front and start clicking Stinger at me after attack pass, and it's going to be able to boost quite a lot. I switch out Noizard here for something. Yeah, I go back into Varkabond, hoping to just be able to start getting some like Blaze refreshes off. But the Stinger into Orgella is unfortunately rough. I believe I just go for the refresh Relentless here, get a little bit of healing on. With Drum, I mean, I'm basically healing like 27 in total, so that large hit does not feel so large in hindsight. We see the Diablo going for Gloom here into the Varkabond, just trying to get more progress that way, which I'm probably not going to let happen. But nonetheless, the fact that I'm going to have to waste a defensive turn on a switch at some point is not great. So the Diablo is just going to stay in the front here and continue causing issues. And after another tactical pass, I believe it hits the Orgella this turn. And this doesn't go great for me. Because Overwrite, of course, has erased my superorganism, which I have forgotten about up to this point. So I'm down to 19 after drums, and I'm just like, okay, time to blaze that off and click launch. Which I do end up doing. And it was the correct play, either way, or was maybe the correct play. I'm not 100% sure if it was the correct play. It was a very risky play, but I ended up getting, I'll just let it play out. Either way, I'm in this game for a while longer, despite having a white Beastie on the field, and a very threatening Diabloceros with a number of boosts on the other side of the field. Either way, they blocked the Castlete, correct play. Obviously, it's the one attacking. The Relentless is not going to do much damage. Still does a lot of damage to the Diablo, though, and that's important. Because this thing being low means I can knock it out with more weak attacks. Like a Relentless now will easily KO it, even after some drum heals. A Stinger from the front row off of Noizard could KO it. A Splinter from the front row could KO it through block. Obviously, anything Castley does will KO it. But from the other side, Spitball's doing a lot of damage now. This is before another tactical pass can come out. The Voltoxin is going to be able to start telekinesising itself to get some boosts there, which will start being threatening later. But after that, I mean, this is doing a lot of damage here. With that said, I recognize I can survive with a block or a shield here just fine. I believe I go for the shield because walk forward telekinesis stinger would actually KO. Let's see it. But Orgella, if you recall, does have Relentless. Oh, I switch in Barkabon, right? Because I want to stick the Diablo in place, which is a very good play, if that would work. But unfortunately, I've forgotten again about Overwrite. I leave Castlevine on high HP. Because again, I'm forgetting about Overwrite, but I'm remembering about Relentless. So I'm able to get a Provoke off, prevent the Voltoxin from getting any more boosts or giving any more boosts. But the Noisart comes in, so I'm not able to get the KO there. With that said, though, I just hard read. I think that my opponent is going to keep pressuring the slot that isn't wiped. And I mean, drum setting up is all well and good, but I still have a couple healthy beasties. Even with this massive dump coming out, my Armantis hasn't hit the field at all this match. I'm able to swap it in here, just walk forward with Relentless, and 100% of the time get that KO. Oh, no, I go for Splinter. Why do I go for Splinter again? There's a reason I go for Splinter. I forget why I go for Splinter. Hold on. Is Relentless is not getting the KO, I think. Yep. Yeah, right. Relentless was not KOing the Voltoxin. That was part of it. Right. I went for the Splinter because I figured the Voltoxin was probably coming in. But now the reasoning for that is very tricky. And sorry, I'm gonna pause again. If the game is gonna let me. There we go. I need to wait for it to stop having an animation going. But the Splinter is important because if I Relentless here, I mean, the Voltoxin is gonna take 64, but it's gonna heal itself again. And it's also, you know, not significantly weakened. But now, since I am relying on the front row beastie to deal damage, I can finally tag out the wiped beastie in the back row for my Noisart, which has been sitting at 54 for so long, and having forced out the Diablo. I am at long last able to somehow close this one out despite losing a point immediately on counter serve. So the Stinger comes out. After telekinesis, it's not going to do quite enough to Noisart. And having worn down my opponent's bench enough, we see the Superorganism proc, but that doesn't really matter at this point. Because anything from my opponent's side would basically be a 50-50 as to who switches out at this point. But either way, the Splinter forces out the Voltoxin. I can provoke it just to make sure and nothing on the bench can take this. And that was probably, I don't know, not like my absolute best played games of Beastieball, especially considering how the first point went, but I am very proud of winning this one, and I wanted to share it all with you. So yeah, thanks for watching.